Hi everyone. In the last tutorial, we have created MySQL Database EMPDB. So continuing with that, today we are going to learn how to connect the EMPDB through our PHP code. So let me show you once again the database and then we will write our PHP code. So in the last tutorial, we have created this EMPDB database and within it we have created one table called as employee, and this employee we have inserted, say suppose here, two rows. So what I'm going to do now is that I will connect with this EMPDB through my PHP code and I will retrieve these two records from this particular table. So let us do this. So for that, so let us write the PHP code. So here now, to connect with the database, remember you will require four parameters: server name, username, password, and the database name. So what I'm going to do is that create here four variables. So first variable will be server name. So as you know, we are using the localhost server name. So I'll put the value here. Then second thing is that username. So our username was the root, like I have shown you in the last tutorial. Now the password of this root user was nothing. And the last variable that I will be creating will be the database name. Okay. So the database name is the EMPDB. Remember, this should be the same name that we have created in our PHP my admin, right? Then next, I'm going to show you which MySQL functions we will be requiring. So first thing that I'm going to do is that create the connection. So here I will create one variable conn, okay, and I'm going to use one function called as mysql connect, and I will be passing this four variables that I have just created. That is first our server name, then second is the username, third will be the password, and the last will be our database name. So this is the function that we will be required to connect with our database, MySQL database. Okay. Now, depending on our connection is successful or not, so we will check that with using the if condition. So what I'm going to do is that if there is no connection error, so that will be detected by this particular connect error function. What I want to display is that if there is some error in connection, then I want that some error message should be displayed like connection failed, and I want it to display what was the error. So MySQL connect error. If not, then connection will be established. So it is always a good practice to close this particular connection after doing the work. So here I'll be using this MySQL close function and I have to pass it the connection variable. So after it has done its work, it will close the connection. So what I have done here so far is that I have written a PHP code to connect with the database EMPDB. For that I am going to use this mysqli connect function, which will take two parameters. Okay, so let me save this and say suppose I'll just give it name select data, and I will go to my browser, and here I will just run this file php lessons then select data. So see here nothing is displayed because what we have done is that we have just put the condition that if there is no error then nothing is to be done, right? If there was error then error message would be displayed. So what I can do is that here I can just add one else, that if connection is successful then I want it to display that connection is successful. Let us save this again and go to our browser. Now let us run it again. So see here the connection successful message is now displayed. Now so far what we have done, we have successfully connected with our EMP database from within our PHP code. Now next what I am going to do is that I am going to fetch the two records that are present in the employee table. So for that, again, what I am going to do is that create one SQL variable, and here I will be writing my select query. So I'll write here select star from employee. Okay. So this is just a DML statement. So remember the table name should be same as that you have created in the database. Otherwise data won't be fetched. So here I'll write my SQL statement. Then next I'm going to use yet another MySQL function. So here I will be requiring one more variable result to store the query result. So here I will be using the mysqli query function, and I will pass it first the connection variable and second the SQL, that is SQL statement that I have written. Now basically what is happening here is that this MySQL query function, it actually returns the number of rows in the result set, and the result set is given by executing this SQL statement select star from employee. Now next what we are going to do is that we are going to fetch these records. Now currently we don't know how many records are there in the backend. So first I will be using one more function, that is mysqli num underscore rows. Okay. So here first I'll check whether this particular result set has rows greater than 0. Otherwise, if it is empty, then it cannot display anything. So we are going to first check it whether the number of records within the table are greater than 0 or not. If yes, then what I am going to do is that output each of this row, right? So for fetching the data, if there is more than one row, obviously we will be requiring one loop. And for fetching data, we are going to make use of one more MySQL function, that is mysqli fetch assoc function. Now basically this mysqli fetch assoc function, it fetches a result row as an associative array, and then we will display this fetched row through our loop. Okay, so here I will write my while loop, then a row at a time one value is filled, so I'll create this row variable and I will use this mysqli fetch assoc function, and I will pass it the result set that has been obtained. Now this particular row will consist of one record at a time. Now let us display the value of each of the field. So for that, see, our first field was employee ID, isn't it? So that can be retrieved by writing like this row, and within the square bracket I will write the name of this particular field. Okay, now note here, see, the first field is EMP-ID. Now this should be the same as we have created here, EMP-ID. Okay, so here ID is in capital, so I have to make here changes. So this should be EMP-ID. This field name should be same as that in created in the backend. Otherwise, it won't be able to fetch the values. Now next, I want to display the employee name, isn't it? So here, next, I will write, use the period to concatenate the all the values. So the next field that I am going to fetch is the ename. Then again use the dot parameter. Next, last is the job. So here job value will be retrieved by the job field like this, and I want every row on next line, so here I will use the br tag. So see here what I have done, I am fetching the individual value of the fields by using the square brackets, and within the square bracket I am using the field name. And remember, the name of the field names should be same as that we have given it here. Okay, so this loop will execute till the number of rows are there. If it does not fetch any values, then we just are going to display a message that there are no rows in this particular table. So close this. So see what I have done. I have checked whether the particular table consists of rows greater than 0. Then we are displaying each of the row one by one. Otherwise, we are just going to echo that there are 0 records in this particular table, right? So let us save this. Let us go to our file and run this, execute this. So see here, there is one error, line number 29. Okay, I have to close the if condition. So save this. Let us run this again. So line number 36. Okay, this one was extra. So remove this. So see here, the two records has been fetched successfully from the table in the our database. So what we have learned is that how to establish the connection with our database by using the mysqli connect function. Then next we have fetched the records from our employee table and we have displayed it using a while loop. So this is how we can connect with our database and fetch the data from the database.